Good evening and welcome to the show On the Spot. My name is Patrick Amara. As the opposition continues its boycott of Parliament, Speaker Anita Among is exploring every possible method to either compel the boycotters to return or face expulsion. This situation has resulted in an unresolved deadlock. The leader of opposition continues to demand a government response concerning the disappearance of opposition supporters and other human rights abuses in the country. Meanwhile, the executive is urging the speaker to take a firmer action against the boycotters. This raises the crucial question: what is the solution to this ongoing stalemate? On tonight's show, we'll attempt to answer these questions and more with Brandon Kintu, Kagoma County Member of Parliament and Spokesperson of the NRM Parliamentary Caucus, and the Honorable Moses Okot Bitek, the FDC Member of Parliament representing Kioga County in northern Uganda. Honorable Brandon Kintu, thank you so much for having honored our invitation, but also for having the discipline to come on time.
Thank you, Patrick, for having me again here, and good evening, viewers. But Patrick, just allow me. It will be a very big sin if I don't say thank you and congratulations to the people of Busoga. The kingdom is now extremely firm because we have the inner band. Congratulations, Busoga. And also, politely thank the NTV. You really broadcasted us everywhere in the whole world. If NTV is watched in heaven, they must have watched the event.
Okay. I think we also have a duty to congratulate the people of Busoga, the Chabazinga, the Isebantu and the Inebantu, and I think now the kingdom is complete. Having the queen in the palace is a good thing.
Yeah, very beautiful.
And you guys put up a serious show.
Thank you for supporting.
All of us, especially where we come from, there was a bit of an envy. And you know, some questions are being thrown around to someone.
But we still have more. We still have more products for Busoga. So you can always come and we talk. I think
Busoga is really, you've been on the top. It was well handled. It was beautifully done. It was projected the best of Busoga, and well, everybody was dazzled and amazed to see what was going on. For those two, he's a king, but he's also a young man with all respect. So it's good that he's going to enjoy his kingdom much better.
Oh, definitely. And we are willing as Busogas, in and out, to support and make sure Busoga becomes more greater than it used to be.
You know what? The first civil engineer came from Busoga.
Zikusoka.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, the first woman vice president of this country.
Specials, a doctor.
The first female speaker. I can go on and on and on. You guys, exactly. do you know how powerful this region has been, despite of what other people say?
Actually,
there are so many firsts in your region that some people don't know. And
actually, for that point, I can inform this country that most of the professional civil servants in the ministry in this government are Busoga. If I would count for you the permanent secretaries and undersecretaries, and in government agencies,
yes, yeah.
The National Planning Authority,
yes,
is still Busoga. So we're a very big brain.
I know about the fasts that, the fasts for Uganda. The fasts for Uganda have been what? You have contributed so much to Uganda.
And we are still.
Thank you very much. So now, Kagoma County MP, spokesperson of the NRM.
And the first Busoga spokesperson of the NRM.
Okay, Brandon. So let's face it, there seems to be, the parliament where you sit is not at ease. Why? Because for the parliament to be complete, the members of opposition must be there. But now they have really taken some time without joining you in the house to legislate for Uganda. What is going on, and how do you legislate when the other group is not with you?
First of all, parliament is a house of legislation. And they call it the Augustic House, which has a very big meaning if you're trying to interpret it further. And then secondly, when we are elected as members of parliament, we don't come to represent parties. We are representing national issues that are actually affecting the country. Even the laws that we do make, these are not laws of individuals, they are laws of this country. So I believe you first have to be a Ugandan before you can rotate around political parties and the regions, because that's the expression, the free expression that this NRM government has put in place. So what does it mean? Parliament is not represented on issues of political parties on the floor of Parliament. Parliament has to go on because we are Parliament when we are all together. But before I would concretely answer that, I would like to remind you and also remind my colleagues on the opposition that we do miss them in Parliament. They should come and we do our constitutional mandate. If you are saying and advocating every day that your role is protect and uphold the Constitution, because that's the oath we make, so then how will you protect and uphold on the steps of Parliament, on radio stations, on TV? We know also the different contributions when we echo out our voices like we are here, but we are not actually very comfortable that our colleagues, first of all, their constituents are not represented now. There are so many views that people would want to know. We all stand and believe and agree that issues of human rights are not political. You cannot say these guys are wrong. There are so many boycotts or walkouts world over that have been successful, but you'd ask yourself, these gentlemen and women who are not in Parliament, what is the after effect of it?
But I just want to get into the issue why they have walked out.
Exactly.
Really, it's Honorable Brandon, let's face it, there are Ugandans who have disappeared. There are Ugandans allegedly taken by the agencies of government, security agencies of government. One of them is John Bosco Kibalama. I've actually met the family of John Bosco Kibalama. You know, the family is looking for their brother, is looking for a husband, is looking for a father, is looking for a friend, is looking for a breadwinner. It's almost 5 years. And yet the cardinal job of a government is to protect people and their property. When you go to legislate, when your people are in disarray, when the people you legislate for are hurting, it doesn't make sense for you to sit and legislate when your constituency is not at ease.
Equally, it doesn't make sense for you to get out and you cannot come to have a conversation where you are supposed to. Parliament has rules, we have obligations. Where do you do what and when and how? I want to ask you the same question. When we had the Honorable Segirinya and the Honorable Alan, Honorable Segirinya, by the way, soon is getting introduced. So we are asking you to come and join hands so that marriage can be stabilized. We had a report through our Human Rights Commission, headed by the Honorable Fox Odoy. Before he would complete the report, our colleagues moved out. Tell me how that solved the issue of these colleagues of ours to get out. They just came out on the stairs, which is also civil, and we welcome it, no one is condemning. But Kamara, we are talking about what is the after effect. Let us walk away. Let us, like we all protest. You know, and you know,
sometimes it gets too much because the executive will come and explain this. For example, the issue of John Bosco Kibalama. The Prime Minister is quoted to have said that he knew where Kibalama was.
Yes.
And this is a man who disappeared around 2019. It's almost 5 years. I mean, how can a government, the Prime Minister say, I know where Kibalama is, and for 5 years in all centers of detention that are gazetted places of detention, the man is not there.
First of all,
how do you expect a family of the Kibalamas and the rest to move on?
Now, the issues of security and issues that are a bit criminal, whatsoever nature they can call it in the law, they are not as simple subjects as buying bagia or buying a bottle of mineral water. Government also has its mandate and duty to carry out full investigation. I know you will be linking on the Prime Minister that he said these statements. I believe you're a Christian by the name of Patrick. We have been waiting for Christ and we have never given up. We should have hope. The minister himself, when he was still explaining, I'm coming to that issue, he said there are issues. Just like somebody asked me one day, where's Jamil Mukulu? Ever since Jamil Mukulu spent so many years killing people, not only Uganda, but elsewhere. Uganda is a landlocked country. So you don't expect government that is holding serious issues, because what does government come out to explain about Kibalama? Have we given them time? These are security issues, and we have a government. We are very mindful as government, and structures and ways and all other accessories that are needed around that whole circus of Kibalama, you know, to be brought on the floor of Parliament.
The thing is, even the members of his family, with whom I've had a conversation,
yes,
they're not saying you shouldn't hold him. They're saying hold him according to the rule, according to the law.
And that's what
what is coming out.
Because very soon, I know conversation. Me and you, we could be arguing about this, demanding, which is very right.
Why would you deny the family to see their member?
I don't have facts about that.
No, I've spoken to the family members.
Probably they would answer that. But what I want to affirm to the Ugandans and giving you confidence that as government, if government has come out to say we have Chibalama, let us give time. Because we don't know what caused. Why didn't they come for you, Patrick Kamala, or me? There are so many people who have been in government that have been come for. So we are appealing to Ugandans. We should not blow it out. Because I'm not even sure the people you met, that these are families. I don't know what they were taught, because there are some people here who are coached to make statements. But the government has a duty, like you say, to protect people.
Brandon, when you actually say that some people are coached to make statements,
I'm saying they could be.
It's a real family, and people are hurting. You can make a statement like here, but remember, behind the statistics is a real person, is a real child, a real brother.
In courts of law,
is a wife.
In courts of law, we don't go for hearsay. I've been in court, and I've been into issues of human rights and politics.
I'm telling you, as
now,
a young man who was the support of NUP,
yes, if you have seen, what has
not returned in 5 years.
We have been calling people also in our committees. Patrick, Parliament is not going to come here on the platform and we talk. We have a committee of human rights. Let's go and check the reports. We are not saying Chibalama is a very good Ugandan who is supposed to be accounted for. But we are saying, let's give government time. He was not picked from the altar to go and be detained. There should be issues. Let us allow institutions. The problem...
Nobody is denying, or there's no conflict.
You are denying us time.
Listen, the thing is, if there is an issue, take him through the proper channels.
And that's what is coming.
Judicious channels.
And that's what is coming.
It doesn't take 5 years.
It doesn't work like that. A bishop of the Catholic Church may retire when he clocks 65, and the Pope will take 10 years without responding and accepting his resignation. So in structure management, and we are talking about security, my brother. And that's why you can be here to talk, because there is some bit of order in management, even here at NBS, at NTV.
So when we talk about security, there shouldn't be, the laws of Uganda should not be respected?
There are questions, and the question you are raising now, and we're answering appropriately.
God forbid, if you are arrested today, your family would demand,
and I'm not immune.
Would demand that you are taken to courts of law.
But it also depends on how and what. These are questions behind the curtain. And no one, I want to be categorically clear on this national TV, no one is saying these demands are illegal. The demands and the voices of our people and our colleagues demanding, because the issue of human rights is universal. But we are saying government has institutions. We have so many institutions that are carrying out. Give them time. The Prime Minister committed. The Minister, now I'll ask you the same question. Where can we find them to give them the report? Should we go to their homes? Or should we go to the streets so we come here and give a report?
If time and time again you have not been able
to
give them a report, why would you telling us? Why would you tell us that tomorrow we're going to give a report? Why would they believe you?
There are structures. There are some ways that such issues should be handled. We are not talking about putting Almond on the veranda and start calling.
I'm amazed on how you really want to disregard the law.
I'm not disregarding the law. I want to protect the law and the law.
As somebody whose job is to make laws, you should understand that the law should be respected and followed at every moment.
That's why proudly
if John Bosco Kibalama is accused of having committed any crime against the state, bring him into the courts of law. Let the members of his family see him and his lawyers see him.
Have we closed the judicial system in Uganda?
For John Bosco Kibalama, yes.
No, that's not true.
And other members.
Interest yourself as an investigative journalist to find out the facts. I told you government is willing and government is ready. Let the members of parliament come. The way they even submitted more names, and answers will be provided.
So now, you who speaks for the NRM Caucus in a parliament, when you see things like this, even when we go back in 2016, some heinous crimes, people are killed, people are taken out, and they come back, some of them with gory stories of what have happened behind the scenes while being held by security agencies. What do you make of this? What do these things make you feel as a Ugandan, even before as the legislator of the NRM?
The issue is not how I feel. but I look at how the institutions should be working and strengthened within my country. Because I really have, and I would wish to stay longer here and see things done. And that's why I offered myself that I should go to Parliament and bear the policy formulation for my country to be well. So I don't only feel, I don't only look, but I'm participating. And that's why I'm here to give information and to clarify, because Uganda politics has become the most growing economic activity. So activism politics will always be there because people want to, there are people proudly on TV will tell you my role is to fight Museveni. I want to remove Museveni. But you are in the arm. So as somebody who sits in the other arm of government, with my colleagues that we are whipping to come back, let us come and strengthen. So we know, but we do have institutions. If you're talking about human rights, we have a committee. And this Committee of Human Rights is composed of both the NRM and the opposition. We have the Equal Opportunity Commission. It has members, I sit there, and we have members of the NRM and the opposition. So let us come, instead of coming, because I'll not be on TV and start lamenting. That's what you're encouraging as fourth estate,
but you see,
that we should cry and lament.
Your colleagues in Parliament across the aisle, they also understand that there's a committee on human rights. There's a committee on almost every sector of government. They understand it, they get it, but it has not done its role as expected of it. That is why they have decided to take leave of Parliament, because it's not serving the purpose. You take leave, then what? I can mention for you, offhand, the members of the opposition who are on Human Rights Commission. Actually, you might even think that it's an accountability committee. Let us do things. If you're talking about laws and that I make, let us respect. If I want to cry out, where is my satisfaction of crying? In what condition? I'll not go and hold a microphone now in that front page and start telling people, they are killing people, government. We should stop lamenting. Let us strengthen. Why don't you give your views in the committee and reports? But somebody will tell you. Do you know walkouts is part of parliamentary democracy? It
is very civil.
Yes.
But then what's the after effect? Also look at yourself.
When they walk out, it's because because they have not been satisfied, because they are disappointed.
And then what? I'll give you one walkout of a woman. I may not remember the name. She walked out in America because the blacks were not allowed to sit in front within the vehicles and public transport. And it went viral everywhere. So when this lady walked and insisted to sit in front, there's an after effect. That changed and revolved. Tell me at the walkouts that I've started ever since I entered this parliament, what are the after effects? So let's also try to internalize, as you people who are making investigative journalism.
You're going to see the after effects in 2026?
No. We want to sit now because I don't look at 2026. I'm looking at now.
Ugandans who give the mandate.
You think that people are demanding human rights are all around
Ugandans who give the mandate for the legislators to come and lead and represent. They know. They are watching. Ugandans are watching.
I'll ask you a question.
I can tell you Ugandans are watching.
I know.
Even the people of Kagoma,
I know.
The people of Kagoma are watching.
And they are on. And that's why I want to categorically say, you think issues of human rights are not in Kagoma? They are only in Uganda and around Chibalama? Why is it an issue? Also look extensively. This is election time. We have done 2.5 years. People in the opposition are strategically positioned themselves because they also have reshuffles within. Equally, the NRM will not denounce that cabinet reshuffle. People are just, let's stop putting politics. It can be a stage.
So you're choosing your colleagues of politics.
I am speaking my mind.
You're actually disregarding the fact that there are Ugandans who are missing.
No, that's your statement. I told you from the start that we condemn. And I'm an activist. I worked in civil society close to 5 years. So I know what I'm talking about. But we should stop state management. I asked you a question that when these people moved out and sat in T-shirts, did it remove Sewanyan and Segrin out of prison? Till we had to meet together. We had also to consult. There are so many lawyers, including my brother, Bitek, who is coming in here. You'd ask him, how many times was he in Masaka where advocating for Segrin? I would only see Malende, Shamim.
Now that you're talking about Bitek, who's going to be joining us.
Shamim,
just hold on to your point, Honorable Brandon Kintu. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we shall be joined by the Honorable Okot Bitek, Member of Parliament for Kioga. He's joining us after the break. We'll be right here. Welcome back. You're watching On the Spot. My name is Patrick Amara. My guests tonight are Honorable Brandon Kintu, Member of Parliament for Kagoma North and spokesperson of the NRM Parliamentary Caucus. And also have now been joined by the Member of Parliament representing Kioga County, the Honorable Moses Okot Bitek. You got a very wonderful name, Okot Bitek. Welcome to the show, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Kamara, and my very good colleague from the NRM, Honorable Brandon Kintu. What you didn't tell the listeners and the viewers is that I am the current legal secretary of the Forum for Democratic Change in the new dispensation.
At least earlier I said you are from the FDC.
You're right.
So now, the legal secretary, that actually makes it even much better for this discussion.
Yeah.
These walkouts that you have actually been doing, what are they supposed to achieve?
Oh, Simon, I have said this yesterday, I'll say it today, and I can say it tomorrow, because it's the right thing. And why I'm very firm and I'm always constant on it is that the institutions that we as legislators, people with good thinking for the country, thought would save the principles of good governance, democracy and rule of law are under capture. The single standing institution that the people look up to now remains that parliament that we are in. That informed the decision, first of all, for my ambition to run for the office of the deputy chair. It was a futile ambition, but we wanted that office to be an umpire, or an office that would be able to check the exigencies of the executive. What we are trying to do is that we have asked the umpire of the House,
the Speaker, in other words.
That, yes.
Okay.
We have entered a football pitch, but our adversary in the pitch is using blades under his boots, is using nails under his boots. So please, before we play this game, let him remove the blades, let him remove the nails, and we have a fair game. For the chair of the House, the Speaker, to come outgrown as it is, would mean she's abdicating from the primary role of an umpire to siding with the executive, which we are supposed to check. The 30 days we had given that the government had consented to, that they would be ready with a report, has passed. To date, there's no such report.
You're actually making a very huge accusation against your own speaker, that she's taking sides, she's not doing the role of chairing the House, sessions in a fair manner. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying, Honorable Moses?
That's what I am saying. Please listen it very, very carefully. We are saying the Speaker has always had good judgment. And we're saying, please remain as you are. Do not be cajoled to join a bandwagon of the people we are questioning to check the executive. And so we're saying, if we are asking the questions, allow us to ask the questions in whatever manner we're using. Civil disobedience is part of the actions we have chosen. And today we held a press conference. We've said we're still maintaining our position. By next week, if the 30 days, which has already lapsed, we're going to caucus as opposition, come back with a new demand from government. Because you see, I cannot be carried as a legislator, as a lawmaker, and as an attorney at law to keep walking and every day keep singing this narrative that give us the people, and it doesn't come. I have a very good example. I happen to sit in the Committee of Defense and Internal Affairs with my brother Brandon Kintu. We were taken to Masaka as a Committee of Parliament to investigate the violations of the Chijambia men. We we came up with a very good report for this country. The country was willing to listen to the report. Did the report see the light of the day? The report was killed prematurely. It suffered a stillbirth.
So before I come back to Kintu, in this particular moment,
yes,
what do you want Parliament to do or the executive to do? What is hurting you that you think nobody is listening to?
We want the Bills of Rights is a fundamental right. It's non-derogable.
The whole chapter 4 of our constitution.
Yes, non-derogable. Right to life. Now, we are saying, even if it's one life or two, we must take responsibility. If the state did make mistakes, if these persons were killed, show us. Let the families have opportunity to
a sense of closure on the issue.
Yes, and that has worked in other jurisdictions very well, where people can make sense that we have lost our close relatives. State has taken full responsibility. Atonement is done, and after that, it sets a bar against occurrence of the same. We are entering a period of 2026 where these events are always happening. So we do not want to go to an abyss of darkness that is looming ahead of us. That is what we're passing.
Okay, how do you respond? Your colleague, by the way, you guys are even friends.
He has ably informed you that we sit on the same Committee of Defense and Internal Affairs. And me and him, we have a responsibility to question these issues within our committee, because that's how Parliament works. And I am not saying, like the issue of the Shijambia report, me and him and the rest of the members have no authority on the order paper, but we are still demanding to ask for the space so that our report is heard. But we questioned, we made a trip with him, and we came out with a report, which we all signed. Now, that's the same thing I'm saying. And still, I'll use the simplest word, begging my colleagues that the issues are very fundamental, and there is no government. This government of NRM is against people who are violating human rights. And that's why I told you proudly that our institutions are working. We are asking. They have said, they made prayers, they asked for the apology, they asked for the report, so that if people are killed, you better have come and tell Patrick, this person died, may his or her soul rest in peace. But we're also saying, Honorable Bitek, where shall we address you to that? You have demanded for the report, the minister is ready. Parliament is coming. I'm glad he says that they are going to recaucus. And that's where our problem is. After recaucusing, you see in NRM, when we have issues, we go and caucus, come up with a resolution. We are waiting for them again. They shouldn't get tired. There was somebody was saying, we have been on this for three years waiting. Let them come. And we do. We respond, because we all stand together as Parliament, and we condemn. This government, the NRM, is the only government that has a responsibility. The president took an oath to protect all Ugandans. And remember, Patrick, our motto is for God and my country. Now, a godly state cannot support killing people.
So one thing I'm picking from Honorable Brandon is that the minister is ready. They want to respond to you.
But where are they?
They're not going to come to Kioga or wherever. You need to come to the floor of Parliament so that you can get the response you've been wanting to get.
The way Parliament works, and which I think I would want to believe my brother Brandon is privy to, we get to have the order paper at least some good hours a day to the session. And on the order paper, the business on the order paper, we get to know whether such responses were in. Prior to going to the House, we equally, because the leader of opposition is a member of the business committee that determines the business on the order paper. So he would be briefed on what is on the order paper. I cannot testify and attest that there is no communication whatsoever. There is no communication whatsoever that such a report is ready to form part of the business.
Now,
but how can they it form part of the business when they know you who make the business is not in the business?
Akin to the same, the ministers responsible who were tasked did say they were all out of the country. And
but
part of the reason
chief whip
that
is in charge
they
of
could not
whipping the
respond
ministers
specifically to this. And if today you listen to the speech of the government chief whip, he did go back on his former position, saying that whatever they did is all they have. So, and now that is a statement that shows a body of people wanting to gag us.
In the last almost a month now, with all these boycotts and walkouts,
yes,
have you achieved anything?
Very much so.
Like what?
You see, we live, first of all, we live in a parliament that should appreciate our existence of a multi-party dispensation, where there are strategic decisions that the floor cannot take without, and if such answered comes up without the input of the opposition, we are exposed within the country and outside the country that we have fallen short of what we portray out. But if we keep blessing, sitting in there, we would be blessing it to the people that the cries that are in the country, I think all is well, because the politicians, the people who speak for the people, I think are dining together and are appreciating that all is well.
Okay, Honorable Baron, do you realize that when you have a group of legislators across the aisle who now do not want to sit with you and legislate, that takes our country in a certain perspective, exactly, more or less like a pariah state, yes, and that's very dangerous.
Yes.
Because in a democracy, they're taking almost a month because they feel, using your tyrant of numbers, you're not going to listen to them, you're not willing to listen to them. It is either your way or no other way.
I told you from the beginning, you see, he rightly informs you, and which is true, that the leader of opposition is part of the business committee. You ask the question, I'll leave that. But now, how do you tell me, if it's not something strategic we don't understand? The Honorable Bitek told you, we are almost going back into elections. There are so many pressures. And some of these people, they are not, actually we have not, he talks about multi-party democracy, but we have not understood. These people are in party individually to gain political positions. You look, and I'm sick and tired of people referring our parliament to those that have gone away. Somebody will tell you, look at the parliament of Ben Wacha. People are watching us every day from 2 o'clock up to 6 or 7 in Chikubo watching parliament. And they are wondering, we are like, these should be living deads, because the picture of parliament doesn't come. So for you to tell me that I should have a picture of parliament where people are fighting, people are not respecting laws and rules of procedure to express themselves, I don't think I need to subscribe to that. Because a member of parliament, when we were growing up, we had the likes of Vulamu and again Usoga. Patrick, you would reach and just want to touch a member of parliament, to see how he looks like, how he feels, because he carries it with integrity. But now we have something like a market show, and then they better stay home. And if they are tired, we cannot sit and actually have a proper conversation, we better resign. So the picture of the parliament that we are supposed to look at, and also emulate, that this parliament of the Ben Wacha, Kero, the Cecily Ogwal of those days, is not the parliament.
You know what you're saying? So, in the same parliament where you sit, which is supposed to be hallowed ground, which is supposed to be a temple of democracy, you know, as if there has been a discretion of the temple of democracy.
And was denied.
And this is where you sit.
No, who has denied them to express themselves? You got the answer of parliament. Just a minute. When you got the answer of parliament, most legislation is done by the opposition members of parliament. They are actually friends of the speaker. When you look at the left hand of the speaker, when he's trying to consult, he's always consulting the Tom Biteks, the Brandon Biteks, who are even in legal mind, and parliament moves on. These people, actually, they are into a trick I should be identified. I will not, let me give an example to my brother. I don't want to go the rest. That may be, but which Bitek is not, that I want to be seen in Kioga County that he has spoken and is fighting.
So
we
are not going to let that go just
they
like that.
should actually stop that.
How many tricks do you have up your sleeve?
You have asked a question. How far? He's still telling you we have done this, but we need to sign after effect. If this walkout was meaningful, same for you going to the media and talking and crying, you should cry and lament on the floor where no one has denied you your democratic right.
Brandon, I've always said that I love having a discussion, a discourse with you when you've done soul searching. You're better distilled and very palatable to consume mostly what comes from you. But here, when you are coming to speak for the NRM Parliamentary Caucus, you lose some of your faculties. One, for you to say that I am a trickster that would want to cause drama to
attract the next election.
Let me tell you,
of 2016.
the opposition politicians that you see here, mostly, I could speak for myself, are a true measure of a creme de la creme. I am a man who was made out of blood and iron to get to the floor of Parliament.
Then fight on the
Now,
floor.
every day, I see violations happen in Lake Kyoga. I see people being maimed, killed. And these are questions. Part of what is in that report, we are asking, where is Omara, who was shot in the lake? Where are all these people who were beaten up and this? Those are questions we are asking. And you can't say this is drama. Then secondly, let me ask you, if you, in your own good mind, you do appreciate that we are the best contributors in that flow, you refer to us.
Yes.
Then what do you have? Do you have in a shell with an inside while you legislate, yet the core is taken off? That is actually what we sought to do.
You're absconding from duty.
You see, you have been demystifying
because lives
you are denying.
Because the lives are. This is a matter of life and death.
Let us be very clear here. Your role.
Brandon, you had your part. Let me just finish. Yes, let me just finish.
I thought there was information.
You see,
because that I would take.
The first thing you guys started doing wrong, and which we are saying now, we have reached a stage, we want to now come clean. We want to come clean, and the citizens should judge us on this. We do. Actually, there are issues, the rules in itself are being manipulated by some of you guys. When I hear, unfortunately, I had the government chief whip making very reckless and careless statements today on the floor. The Honorable Ogwang equally making very reckless and careless statements that they can do without opposition and the rest. And I'm like, do these members know the impact? You are given responsibility in this country, and you know that lives are at stake. You went ahead in that parliament. You see how we sit. In the parliament that was before us, it was a clear sitting where the opposition were on one side,
so that they can be adjusted.
The ruling party was on one side. But because you want to demystify our presence in that parliament, you pick up people to fill the other side, and the house seems filled up. You really.
I have gotten the information, but which information is poisoning my thinking? Because I'm very disappointed in Maimuko as a lawyer. He knows what plenary means. Where are you supposed to perform your democratic rights that are demanding and meaningful to this country as a member of parliament?
So you see,
you're not going.
That actually messes our debate. You see, even when we want to,
walkouts are not exclusive to the opposition.
You asked him a question.
Walkouts.
What have we gained? And I gave even a relevant example where he was, and I asked you before he came in. That is, I never saw him in Masaka. I only saw Shamim Marende, but I would see him on TV.
Could I show you?
See him on the microphone.
Could I show you?
So we are saying we should not. That's why I call it tricks. We should stop fooling Uganda.
Should I show you applications of habeas corpus that
we can also speak.
That I did
we can
make
also get out
court,
and speak.
and I've never been respected. You do not even respect court orders.
No.
Court had made declarations in Lira High Court for persons who were killed in the leg.
We are talking about our colleagues now. Don't start running here, and because I've never even heard you in Parliament presenting that issue of Kioga. We met with him. What was that Fisheries Act? How far did we go with it? And we also, they called us, all of us who are on the fishing village. We want to speak the fact.
Do you know,
we all want...
Honorable Brandon, do you know what we call the habeas corpus application?
Let us still go back to the same...
Do you know about
Let us still go back to what you asked.
written asking to produce the
yes,
people alive or dead.
And how
Should
far...
I show you the orders showing my name on the order?
Let's go to Parliament. We are not going to be on NTV and saying we have done this, we have done this.
That I was not in Masaka representing Segirinya and Sewanyana.
I never saw you. This was public.
Instructions for an attorney, it's individual.
If he has applied for habeas corpus, he has done his part. But anyway.
We can go back to the answer of Parliament. Parliament keeps records, and we have. I want him to challenge us that we have done this and have not gotten space. Keeping documents on your file, we can do that.
But you see,
and I'm not dismissing that. I'm not dismissing this struggle.
Do you realize that for them to make these allegations, to have all these issues of human rights, it's an indictment on the government that you serve?
Faith without action is useless.
But this
if you are talking about faith,
we are not talking about faith here, my friend. We are talking about fundamental human rights.
This is it. Faith is very fundamental.
And you see our global ranking, the global structure we are talking about.
We have been into that. And we know that's your trend as opposition. Let's talk a lot. Let us confuse the masses, but we are saying, and I'll keep on saying that, come back to where you are supposed
So are you saying there are no missing Ugandans? These are tricks.
No, I've not said that. You know, I spent 14 years in the seminary, and those schools you only go when you are morally right and very intelligent. I have not saying, I said it here that we condemn it, and that's why we have institutions. The above they talk about at one time, the president of this country, he said, if anyone is mishandling anyone, should be handled personally, individual. Stop saying the above. Now that's the above. We have courts of law. He's a lawyer. He has won cases in court.
If there are courts of law, if there are courts of law,
you cannot say that we dismiss people are being killed.
If there are courts of law and people are facing charges, crimes, let them be brought.
We go to the process, and no one has said. Is there anyone who stood up and said Chibalama is not going to be produced in court?
It's been almost 5 years.
No. It doesn't matter.
Really?
It doesn't matter.
What are you speaking about?
They are processes. I'm telling you about processes.
I think I'm walking out about this. A constitutional obligation. Do you know the timelines we have set in our constitution for somebody to
come out and challenge?
First of all, somebody to be produced.
He's a lawyer. Let him go to court and say, they so and so you came here and said this.
Justice delayed is justice denied.
Let's not say that continuity.
You cannot hold somebody for 5 years and you say...
Why are you only concentrating on Chibalama?
Because
we have interest also as government.
So we shouldn't talk
why don't we give other examples? Because abuses of human rights, they are not only centered on one individual. We know this is politics. We are saying let's give the institution time. Actually, Bitek would be respecting that institution. He has gained freedom out of that constitution. He has charges where the court has declared him to be compensated. So you cannot say, how long did it take you? It was, and yet it was also on him. It's evident here. He got shot.
Well,
and the court gave justice.
What we're saying.
So let's not diminish our institutions. Let's look at how do we strengthen. You as a lawyer and a legislator, you have double chance. How do we strengthen this? Okay. Because tomorrow, if you are not an MP, you're still going to stay in the institution.
Gentlemen, we're going to take a break. But when we come back, I'm going to open the lines so that you too who is watching this program, you can be a part of the discussion. You're going to see the numbers on the screen. Pick your phone and tell us and give us your experience. Tell us what you know. In case you disagree with the two guests I have in the studio, that's normal. That's how debate is. But I ask you to disagree with respect. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching On the Spot. My name is Patrick Amara. My guests tonight are Honorable Okot Bitek, representing Kioga County, and Honorable Kintu Brandon, representing Kagoma North County, and also spokesperson of the NRM Parliamentary Caucus. And we're talking about the walkouts by the Member of Parliament of the opposition MPs who are not happy or satisfied on how Parliament and the executive is handling the matters of human rights violations in Uganda. And this is the moment when you also have to have your say. You're going to see the number on the screen, pick your phone and tell us what you think. And if you have a question, please be specific where you're directing that question to. And should you be in disagreement, that's normal. I still want to tell you, disagree with respect. So now you're supposed to be meeting tomorrow, have another caucus, and maybe take a decision on what is likely to happen. As a group, are you now satisfied that the decision you took to move out has brought any fruits?
It did.
Like what?
There is no point in time that government or the executive has ever been rattled like they are today. The statements that were being made by a very sober whip that we have was a statement below the belt that he never makes. But when we rattled them, they made very careless statements, and we have exposed them to the people. And our intention in civic disobedience at times is to expose people in government. And we have. And we are saying tomorrow or any other day that we caucus prior to Parliament resuming next week, we're going to make more demands. We're going to make more demands.
There's actually been calls that the Speaker could even keep them away for some time. Does she have such powers?
What do you mean keeping away? Suspending them?
Yeah, suspending them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's legally binding by law. There are
Is that
ways.
what you're caucusing?
No. There are ways. You have asked me. Let me explain. Because Speaker being chased out of Parliament or suspended or expelled is within our rules, and there are certain ways why and how. Like somewhere, our rules are very clear. If I'm going away, I put in writing, informing the Speaker of that specific issue, why I'll not be in Parliament. And actually, the warning of the Speaker does not only apply to the opposition, it's to all members of Parliament. Because we also have ministers, we have members of Parliament who never attend. So this is a call to the whole House that come on, be careful when we have these sittings, it will come to this. But the Honorable Bitek will tell you that they notified Parliament and the time has elapsed. But we are saying sometimes, I remember it during what was this operation in Congo, where our committee and him, we demanded, why did the government take the army before coming to Parliament? And there are some extras, at least to harmonize, because of the urgency of the issue. Now, the urgency of this issue would need extra explanation, not only to come and make a statement and we are caught unaware, because these are lives of Ugandans. So we are saying, as the head teacher, as the head prefect of the House and the presiding officer, sometimes he can use some words of whipping, saying, you people, we need you, so come back or else. But he has not really said, we are going to chase all of you, because these are people's representatives.
First of all, I must say, the words of the Speaker, the Speaker is by all means a politician. So the words were political statements. Going to the law, the Constitution in itself is a supreme document, supreme than our rules. And then even going to the rules, in the rules of interpretation, the sui generis, the literal rule, the plain meaning rule in itself, subjecting the said provision to interpretation where it is in courts of law, which we haven't yet reached, I think it would give a blow to Parliament if they took such decision.
No, but if the sittings are 15, that's the law.
15 is not as plain as it is. It is subject to giving reason.
Yeah, now which single reason have you written to give the Speaker?
If we gave reason, by the time we are saying we are walking out on the floor, it goes on the answered, and that is reason enough that we are walking for A, B, C, D. Yes, that is reason enough. And actually that is reason that is enshrined within a constitutional provision.
I would like to interest you, the Speaker is the custodian of the rules. in that house. So let us not discuss what is not in our mandate, because as a lawyer, he knows.
We already,
and I want to appeal 2
years
now. There are about 6.
How many decisions were made?
There are about six sittings. So start counting.
How many decisions? Let me tell you. Let me ask you. How many decisions have gone to courts of law? That
we are talking about the rules of Parliament,
yes, and the custodian made under the rules.
Custodian of the rules spoke yesterday.
I'm saying how many decisions came under the rules, went to courts of law, and were quashed.
This is a recipe for quashing. You know how you're supposed to vacate, and I should remind you that even your people of Kagoma, they can recall me from Parliament, and it's very clear. So I think
the issue of recall is very difficult.
But there are rules. I mean, if they are satisfied, it can be done.
Yeah.
We have had MPs who have been suspended before. The Tunyefunza, the General Tumukunde, the Kipoi. But what we are saying, Patrick, now that Muko, my honorable, he has made it clear that they are going to caucus, we are saying, come and listen. The space on order paper will be found so that we can do what is mandated to
ultimately,
stop the human rights abuses.
What's going to happen? Because at the end of the day, democracy is about numbers. You don't have the numbers in that house.
Yes.
And Honorable Brandon and colleagues are inclined to take, in most cases, the views of the chairman of the party, and that is what will prevail. Now, you know that you're doomed to fail in whatever you do because you don't have the numbers.
What we want.
It appears not to be the power of persuasion, but the power of numbers.
We want history to judge as well. Let whatever report is there, let that report come, however vague it is debated. It's either subjected to whatever kind of ruling the House would make, but we want to go on record, whether on a dissenting or assenting opinion, that we stood with the people. And that is what we want. And we are saying we want to have something. You can't say you have nothing yet to bring to us. You tell us that Chibalama that you are talking about, we did say, the Premier did say we have him, but now we are saying we don't have him, and for reasons that we made such statements, we are sorry we had erred. That is okay.
And we are calling you to come back to Parliament because that's where the report can be read.
So, when we did, the 30 days did lapse this week, and we are saying it's okay. We are now coming to ask. He speaks for the NRM Parliamentary Caucus.
Yes.
And he's saying that you come back to the House, and then you hear the report because it's ready.
We are not going to do it on Parliamentary Avenue or here in the studio.
We want to discuss with this gentleman, but we want them to get off from their mind the tyranny of numbers that they believe in. The sole reason,
about numbers.
Actually, the sole reason.
We don't have anything to vote on. Are we voting on
whenever
human
I'm
rights
speaking,
report?
Honorable Brandon, please listen. The power that you have in the tyranny of numbers has made you drunk in power, to the extent that you even can't allow me to speak.
No.
Please listen, and I inform you. This, if they appreciate that here we're coming to the House, we are sober enough, it's debate of reason and resolve, they can't take the day with the numbers that they have. They can't. Because...
So why haven't you used your power of persuasion and reason to stay in the House and confuse and win and carry the day?
But maybe information just on that.
How many of them? How many of them will agree to get to that line of reason and debate? They don't. They don't
information
get
that. I don't want us to. I would like to inform the Honourable here, and yet is aware that we have stood together as single Parliament. We have passed over 30-something bills. Did we separate? Did we not agree? We stood on the issue of coffee. We stood on the issue of land. So it's very wrong for him to say they will not agree. And there is no issue of voting about the human rights report in Parliament. I've not even heard it anywhere in the corridor. So I don't know why they are trying to anticipate.
In some circles, people are accusing you of playing for the gallery, of politicking.
Exactly.
Because the roadmap is out, and so this is
it.
So what do you tell them?
We don't play for the gallery. Look, at first we demanded, in that House, we demanded that the duty bearer of protection of human rights is government. They should relinquish leadership of the Human Rights Committee to be an accountability committee that is chaired by opposition, that is able to discuss issues of violations in a systematic manner, in a very sincere manner, and take it. They went, took over that committee. In that committee, the reports that are discussed are not fundamental violations. You will find them discussing issues of pastors beating people in churches. We are talking about killings during electioneering period here. We are talking about everyday violations. Those are not what we want in that committee. In fact, their demands, earlier when we return, we are demanding that there are committees in Parliament, since they have showed that they cannot be truthful to the citizens. They should relinquish committees that make them drunk with powers. Like inter alia, the Human Rights Committee. We want to have it so that we can be able to check and give reports, because we are even not convinced with the reports of the Uganda Human Rights Commission, which they're depending on.
So you're drunk with power?
No, I'm actually surprised, because if I had him bring such submission in the floor of Parliament, I would say, you have spoken very well. I would even invite him for a glass of wine. But that's what we are saying now, that these good suggestions should be done where it's supposed to be. And then I was going to ask the Honorable here, that was the membership of the human rights from their side as the opposition. They're actually more. And no one is saying we are not moving the same way. If you would bring such, because these are rights for everyone, and no one, if he had brought that suggestion, because he knows as a lawyer, how do we form up these committees? In the previous parliament, in the 9th parliament, I think they did not have the climate change. It was just a forum. Issues were made, procedures were followed, and it's now a committee. So let's do that instead of crying here on the TV, my brother. You
fear relinquishing such powers
no. Has the suggestion been brought?
It will expose you.
Has the suggestion been brought
what
to the floor
happens,
of Parliament?
How we determine the business of such committees, the chair is very integral in determining what business such a committee discusses.
So you want to chair it as opposition?
Yes.
Then let it come.
Yes.
Even
what annoys me, even now, accountability committees like PAC, Central, PAC, COSASE, PAC, local government, and all these public accounts committees, we have had ill-informed, ill-billies, sorry, pardon my language, saying they want to, since we are not attending sessions, they will now go and start chairing that. And I'm like,
but you know the rules provide. You know the rules provide a member of the committee, if there is absence, can read the report and can chair the committee. Okay. I'm not a chair of my defense committee, but I'm going to lead my committee for oversight. The rules are very clear.
Gentlemen, you're not going to agree on this, and for sure, you're still, even here, you're still seated across the aisle, and that's the nature of the politics you subscribe to. And so as we come to the conclusion of this discussion, I'm going to give each one of you a minute or two to make your concluding remarks. And since, Brandon, you came first, you're going to go now. What's going to be your parting shot?
First of all, I want, with the humbleness and humility, still request our colleagues that they should come back. We should stop throwing these serious words all over the other side. What we wanted to prove, we have, and I've liked the statement he made, that they wanted to expose us, and indeed they have exposed us in interest of all the Ugandans. But we are saying we all stand for that. Let us now come back to Parliament and do our legislation. We have systems in place, we have institutions that we should work, should be all our entire responsibility to empower and to make them strong. Today is me, tomorrow is somebody else. And maybe also, we know we have pressures within our places, but there are certain issues we shouldn't activate in terms of politics all the time, because we want to act. The people of Kagoma should see me that I'm shouting the best. The other disadvantage, Patrick, we have, you people in the media have exposed us very widely. We can all speak, we can all talk elsewhere, but we want to hold the microphone to yawn, because even if you yawn, it will capture and answered. At the end of the session, you'll be giving us scores and say who talked, how many, and where, and why. You don't even go in the content. So if you can also help us, let members of Parliament are doing their work at a different level, not only at the plenary, but in committees, oversight, and everywhere they go. Uganda is ours. You first have to be a Ugandan. These guys are in FDC, but if I would ask, if I'd pop a question to my brother, which FDC? Katonga or Najanankum. So the moment you don't agree, and if you don't have a structure in agreeing, you can't agree in Parliament.
Okay. Tim Katonga?
Not sure.
Okot, what's going to be your parting shot?
First of all, there's nothing like Team Katonga. Where there is one forum for democratic change that sits at Nanyana Kumbi. I appreciate some of the sober people from the opposite side of the house, but I condemn, in the strongest manner, statements that were spoken, that are continuously being spoken by people who are in positions of responsibility and positions of trust by the people. The statements that were spoken today by the government chief whip and that of Honorable Wang and the rest is no statement that ushers in peace, tranquility, that we would want for a nation building. We've been in such before. We've seen governments that violated rights, and ministers or people who had power acted in the manner in which they're acting. But when you lose such power, you would come for us.
Okay.
So we are saying, lastly, is that we are going to get to the floor.
Oh.
And when we get there, we are going to ask more questions, as long as there are no answers.
Honorable Moses Okot Bitek, Member of Parliament representing Kioga County, and thank you so much for having gotten time to join us, and Honorable Brandon Kintu, MP for Kagoma North, and the spokesperson of the NRM Parliamentary Caucus. Thank you so much for the time, but most of all, you, the viewer, I want to thank you for the privilege of your company. And I know we have a good country and we're good people. Sometimes what is happening to me, I can call it sibling rivalry in Parliament, and this happens always. And they will get through and they will get there. Good night and God bless Uganda.